Well, hello, I'm Paul,
I'm Amanda.
and we're Cosplay Lovebirds,
Oh,
even when we say it at the same time.
oh yeah.
Well, in our first episode, we talked about why we love Star Wars. And then we talked about, in the second episode, a little bit of, you know, I don't know, the Grogu love. Yes.
All the
How
Grogu love.
somehow how Grogu became a third member of our family.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, yeah. But today, let's talk about something a little bit different. Like now that you know us a little bit more, we thought maybe it'd be time to sort of dive into a little bit of content. When a lot of people hear that we're huge Star Wars fans, they usually think about cosplays, conventions, collecting, all the fun stuff, right? Or sometimes they think all the insanity.
Mm.
But it can help shape qualities of one's life and qualities that we try to show to other people. Not that it's made me a better employee or because it's challenged me to become a better person. Now, a lot of these qualities, I say, they're not new, like, they're part of the Ten Commandments or the greatest rule,
Yeah.
like they've long steeped in history. But Star Wars sometimes frames them in another perspective that people would listen to. So Amanda and I have completely different careers. She's a phlebotomist. I work in tech, and different jobs, completely unrelated to one another, but somehow we've discovered the same Star Wars qualities show up every day. So, Amanda, as a phlebotomist, when somebody sits in your chair, what's the very first thing you're thinking about?
How to ease their nervousness.
Yeah.
Like I just common ground, my name, your name, ask preference of what arm they like me to look at.
So everybody's not the same.
No.
So obviously we're not going to break any hip over. What are the different types of things you do to get people calm?
Well, there was one time I actually sang and she started laughing, so that kind of, helped soften the mood. Sometimes joke, sometimes when patients come in and they see my Grogu's on my desk, they're like Star Wars fans. So we talk about Star Wars or maybe about the weather. Just try to get a human connection to realize, oh, I am not going to hurt you. I will actually want to help you. And I'm good at my job.
So it's sort of like you're meeting somebody where they're at. Technically they're in your chair, but
Yeah.
you're meeting where they're at emotionally. That's kind of nice. That sort of reminds me of like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Mm-hmm.
So when we think about Obi-Wan, like he didn't train Anakin the same way he trained Luke. Obviously, he was much older, but like they needed something different. Like Luke needed something different than Anakin did. They were completely different spots. And Ahsoka, she was very much the same way. She needed something different in her life from those two. So I think the best mentors, honestly, the best people meet others where they're at and helps them with what they need. And that's true whether you're helping a patient or a customer who's having a bit of a meltdown. So if you were to like think about the different Star Wars qualities, what Star Wars quality do you think you would think that you use the most of every day?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. What the Star Wars quality I use most of my days? Relatable. I think compassion.
Compassion, that's a good one.
Yeah, that comes to my brain.
How do you use compassion in your role?
Sometimes someone could be sometimes when people are scared or nervous or not understanding what's about to happen or are you good at your job, they could sometimes perceive in a way of being standoffish or rude, but they don't mean to. They're just trying to find the right emotions to express in the moment. I'm scared. I don't know you personally. Are you going to be good, putting a needle in my
You're
eye?
about to scab them with a
Well,
sharp object.
stabbing is such a harsh word.
That's a gentleman.
So compassion and kind of like what you're saying, meeting them in the middle, like understanding, okay, the right words to use. Sometimes people like a lot of like uppity upness of me being loud or like excitable, or then some people like, okay, you could totally tell they want it to be calm in here. They want quietness.
So uppity up, you mean the energy, bring the
Bring the energy. But some people want to bring the energy way down because I can really bring the energy. Some people ask me to talk to them about anything. I'm like, oh, I could talk your ear off. And then some people are like, no, just be quietness. So being able to kind of use the force in a way of like reading the room, reading the situation.
Yeah, I think when I think about like different Star Wars characters, like let's take Padme as an example. She was somebody who really loved people and generally cared about people. That's why she hated everything she saw happening. She hated what she saw to her people in episode one, and so she went to the Senate. And what she do? She immediately went back. Like compassion, I think has a long history in Star Wars because I sometimes I think that's exactly what people need.
Yeah.
Like they need compassion because this world is very full of non-compassion.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
so true.
So just somebody who cares. Can you think of a time when showing that quality made a difference for one of your patients? Because and sometimes you share stories with me about how somebody may be like super nervous and then they won't even know what happens.
Oh yeah, I could be very persuasive in a good way, and just distracting them. Sometimes just asking them about their day, or what they're gonna have for lunch, or what are you gonna do right after this? And that can kind of get their mind off of it as I'm, preparing, and I see the vein I want to go to, and I'm just doing my thing, and then before I know it, before they know it, they're like, "Wait, you're already done?" I'm like, and then I joke with them, "Yeah, I was done hours ago. Moving on." So distraction can really help a person ease a person's mind.
Using a little mind trick on them.
Yeah, yeah,
You will not notice the needle in your arm.
yeah. Sometimes they really don't, and that's kind of a nice quality to have.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everybody probably has some version of that story. It may not be a patient, it may not be a customer, maybe it's a coworker. Maybe it's a coworker, maybe it's somebody at the grocery store. Because I don't think we really ever know what somebody else is carrying. Like,
Yeah,
everybody, carries, a large burden
yeah.
sometimes. And so compassion, listening, like those are
Mhm.
all important things. And again, they're not necessarily a Star Wars quality wholly. These things have a long
Yeah.
history in scripture and other things, and just in generally being a good person. But certainly a quality there. Yeah, and I've learned the same thing with working with customers. I actually had an experience earlier today. Person, working just fine in the office, went home, and all of a sudden something's broken, and it's like it's got to be you. Your product is at fault. And I'm just thinking to myself, okay, I know it's not, but let's help this person through it. And so then it really wasn't like it's not like they were really frustrated with me. They were just frustrated by the impact. They're frustrated like they couldn't do their job. They couldn't browse the internet. And the solution was actually very, very simple. Like I just needed them to restart their modem, but I needed to guide them down there because there was something that was keeping stuff from working. But they weren't just, I couldn't just be like, go do this. They needed to be guided down that
Yeah.
path to come to that understanding. And I think so there's always a bigger fish. There's always another story. There's always something below the surface.
So true.
So, okay, here's a fun question. Obi-Wan Kenobi walks into your lab and you've got to draw his blood to test his midichlorian. What kind of patient do you think he would be?
I think he would be witty, funny, try to get one on me like these are not the veins you want to poke. And we both have a good laugh, and then I would get the blood, and then that would be that.
Okay.
It would
So
be,
you think he would be a pretty chill patient?
yeah.
What Star Wars character do you think would be the most difficult? Vader. It's because he's more machine than man. I mean, can you really draw blood from like a metal arm?
True.
So like if you had mostly,
That's,
less, what character do you think would be the worst?
oh man, what character would be the worst? Maul.
Okay.
He'd be crying.
You think he'd be crying?
Yes.
Why? Interesting.
Yeah. Some of the biggest heroes are the big buff guys in there. They get all nervous.
That's true. You have mentioned some football players who
Say
just had to lay down.
the
They couldn't
little
handle
tiny
it.
needle coming
Yeah.
towards us.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Darth Maul the crybaby.
Yeah.
I feel a little personally hurt by that.
I knew you would be.
I just don't know how I feel about that. I think about that sometimes too. Like, what would they do in a particular situation? I was imagining like, when you're in escalation, you get somebody like Princess Leia who jumps on the line, and they're like, "Okay, you're gonna do this. We're gonna do this, and you know what? I'm gonna go do all these 87 things." Because they already have 3 backup plans before I even started sharing my screens, right? It's just, so it's kind of funny to think like, how would a character react in that? So let's think about maybe something a little different. Your lightsaber.
Ooh.
Not an actual lightsaber. Like every hero brings something unique to the fight.
Oh.
So Luke has a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Han has his blaster. Leia leads, right? She's she's the determination. R2 solves problems, right? We see him jack into things, solves problems. Chewbacca, fiercely loyal. So Amanda, what is your lightsaber? What do you bring?
What do I bring? I would bring calmness.
You think so?
Okay, laughter.
Yes, I believe that. And a smile.
And a smile with a little sprinkle of calmness.
A little sprinkle of calmness.
But mostly laughter, because a lot of time my patients leave and literally say, that is the most fun I've ever had in a lab.
I wish like sometimes we couldn't be related so I could go in your lab and experience it.
It's pretty. It's a riot in there sometimes. It's pretty entertaining.
Well, that's interesting.
So laughter would be my superpower.
Okay. I was laughter, smiles, kindness, patience. I could see all those things. Even like keeping it like behind when I know you're just like ready to like act a fool, but you're like, I'm not gonna do that. Mostly because jail, your time is not for you.
No. I like showers by myself in my own shower.
So lightsabers then, maybe lightsabers then on Earth are not really weapons. They're the quality we choose to bring to people.
I like that.
So we can use that to combat whatever we are dealt with is the qualities that we bring. All right. So we have a segment, of course, that we call Amanda Doesn't Know This Beforehand. So here's the question that I have for you that you were unprepared for. Now I have no idea what you're going to say. So, but I thought about this. But I'm curious what your answers are going to be. What Star Wars character do you think you are most like?
Jar Jar Binks. A goofball.
Sure. Okay. I will admit that was not anywhere that I was expecting. So my wife is most like Jar Jar Binks. Why is that? I feel like that should be its own title. Why she's Jar Jar?
I just like to love, just trying to get to places and just things get in your way. It's hard.
Are you getting
big ears?
You don't have big ears.
Well, I don't have big ears, but my squirrel moments can see my big ears.
Okay.
Okay. Who did you think I was more relatable to? I'm curious.
I have no idea. Like,
Very curious.
Somebody brave, like a brave character, but like, I don't know. I wasn't sure, but Jar Jar Binks was not anywhere what I would have thought.
Hey, I just that's the first character that popped in my head. Me and Jar Jar were tight.
All right. So now, no pressure. What character do you think I'm most like?
What character are you most like? That is a lot of pressure.
That's why I didn't send you the question ahead of time.
A lot of pressure.
You got to go with the top of your mind.
You definitely would be someone in command.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with who would be someone in command.
I feel like that's probably character, not your strong suit, is like those type of characters.
Yeah. The top of my head, I could see you cosplay as him with the white cape.
Are you talking about Krennic?
Krennic.
Oh, I don't feel like I'm like, well, okay. I don't feel like I'm quite as meaty as Krennic, but all right. So I'm just out there building Death Stars with flaws. Okay. All right. Okay. I'll remember that next time I put my Krennic on. That's interesting. So when you think about Star Wars, do you think, and you watch Star Wars, do you really think Star Wars is really about swinging lightsabers, galactic battles?
I feel like it's more than that.
What do you think it's really about?
Like teamwork.
Yeah.
Adventures. Going into the unknown and coming out. It shapes you in either a good way or a bad way, or sometimes in between way. You're always learning something different.
So what's the most recent thing you've learned from Star Wars?
The most recent thing I've learned from Star Wars.
And we're so off the script. Like, we literally, none of these questions are on here.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so let's take it back. The last movie we saw is Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yes.
So, Grogu had a nice little arc where he had to be by himself.
Yes.
And he had to buy his own flowers.
He had to buy his own flowers.
Obviously, not physically. But what did you learn from Grogu's art that you could apply in?
Grogu's arc?
Yeah.
When he built the arc?
No, Grogu didn't build the ark. That was Noah.
When he made a shelter
I'm
for
talking
Mando?
his character. Yeah, well, okay, yeah, that's a good one.
That was hilarious. Yeah, your measurements were a little off, but he just kept on going. You know, you visualize it that it will work, and you will just make it work. Just add some little leaves, you know, little shrubbery.
Shrubbery. So you're saying then that what you learn from Grogu is that even if you don't make it perfect, you can still do good enough to get by.
Absolutely. You just make it, you tweak it.
I'm just interpreting your words.
Yeah. You're good at that. Thanks, love. You just tweak it, and it'll be just fine.
Or I think that's a good lesson. So take that one. Just tweak it. Tweak it. Don't twerk it. Tweak it. I don't know. So I agree with you to an extent. I don't think Star Wars is just teaching us how to swing a lightsaber. No, it's really cool, like swinging lightsabers. I think it's trying to teach us important things, like teach us about patience, compassion, teach us about hope, looking beyond what is right in front of us, right? Like, I'm not seeing with just our eyes. To choose hope, like to look for hope and not just, all the bad things. But to remember that every person we meet may actually be fighting their own inner battle.
Touche.
So, we can bring hope to them, and I think that that's really important. So I don't think it matters whether it's a customer or a coworker or maybe a friend or even a complete stranger that we're meeting for the first time. Every interaction is what I think Star Wars is teaching us. Every interaction is an opportunity to leave somebody a little bit better than you found them.
Yes.
And hopefully with all their limbs attached.
Preferably.
Yes, because Star Wars also teaches us, be mean, lose a limb. I don't know. But I think if Star Wars teaches us anything, then it's the ordinary people. We think of like Luke. Luke was, obviously ended up being a Jedi, but at first he was sort of an ordinary person. We think about Padme. Padme was an ordinary person. Even R2 and 3PO, like they're droids. They're not like superheroes. Like ordinary people can make a difference simply by choosing kindness, courage, and compassion.
I agree.
That's the kind of force that we hope to bring, into the world every day. So thank you for spending a little time with us while we talked about the Force Awakens in everyday life. And I hope you've enjoyed this conversation. If you love it, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments. What Star Wars character are you most like and why? We'd love to hear your story. But until next time, may the Force be with you always.